Okay, this is Lydia Hubble, June 23rd, 2018, and I announced earlier that, I can put my post in the description here, my Facebook post, but I announced I was gonna address some comments in this video that some pretty hateful people made about me, and I've got notes. What I was gonna do is turn the video on, go to their page, turn their video on, and watch it on my computer and comment on it and correct imperfections or whatever, not imperfections, erroneous comments or whatever, falsehoods, as I went along. So I was going to watch it, and if I was as high-tech as whoever did that video of me, if I was as good as them, I would have the screen up here so you could look and watch what I'm watching as I'm watching it, but I'm not that smart in that area. So I'm not going to be able to do that, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go over the notes that I had. I've got some notes of things I wanted to address. So I'm going to put in the description my post I made earlier, because when I went to I wondered if they would do this, but they apparently have blocked me. So, I think, okay, you want to have this dialogue going on. You want to, I'm expressing myself, you're expressing yourself, so let's have this dialogue. And, they complain about me because I say they're lying, and of course they're not lying about everything. And when I point out that they are lying, then they block me. When I ask, show me how I'm wrong, they don't ever tell me. They just, their argument is always the ad hominem attacks. And if that's all you've got to make your argument, that's pretty pathetic. And that's how these trolls are. And I don't know what their problems are. But let me go ahead and I'm going to sing the song, because I promised I would sing some songs for them. I didn't promise, but and I want to make this video for people who are targeted by the trolls, or not even targeted by the trolls, but just have to deal with bullies and hateful people, because we all have to deal with them. And I'm recording this for posterity too, because my kids already know this stuff. But there are people still struggling, so I'm going to try to help them. Okay. One thought I had. Why do these people do this stuff? Why do they spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours listening to every word I say, watching every second of video, and then taking out parts of it? And they did this last year. The first time they did this, the name of their blog was, the Facebook group was The Nation. And there is a different nation, but they changed it to Blessed Little Trolls and Their Minions or something. And, but I was really impressed when somebody, because they were, somebody was, I guess one of these false fake profiles people were attacking Connie regularly, and one of my favorite attorneys in the world, and we were in Connie's group talking about these people talking about us, and then then I don't know what I said, but somebody says, "Oh, Lydia, you're on their radar too." I'm like, really? Me? I don't believe it. and sure enough, there was a video that these hateful people had made. I made a video the day June 8th, 2017. I was at the hospital when they killed Stephen Rivenberg Jr. He was in DCS custody, and he was killed, given permission to be killed by Judge Wayne Shelton in Clarksville, Tennessee, juvenile court judge. And very few people and I were at the hospital having a prayer vigil and being there to show support for the family. And after it was all over with, I made a video with one of the friends that was there with me, and it's like right away these trolls latched onto it, and in no time, I mean, I was shocked, because the video was like 45 minutes long, so they went all through this video, and then they took out segments, and then they like typed up, maybe if you know how to do this, doesn't take that long, but I was really impressed. And then they like put these captions on here, and they're like, I think one of the things they said was that I had my child taken by DCS. That's not true. My child has never been taken by DCS. Ever. And certainly not last year. My child has never been in state custody for 1 second. But it was interesting that they sought me. I don't know how they found me, because I'm nobody. I'm absolutely nobody. And of Nashville, Tennessee, and I started making videos and putting them on YouTube. I think around I don't know. I'd have to go back on YouTube and see when did I start. But I started chronicling this journey I'm on through slogging through the family court cesspool, and I wanted to document it. I want to document my story. And some people say, well, wait till you get your daughter back and then complain about it. And I can't do that, because when I get my daughter back, I want to be focused on taking care of my daughter. I don't want to go back and, I just think it's better to track it as we go along. And then somebody might say, well, why don't you just keep them private? You know, document them and then keep them private till you get your daughter back. And I think maybe it can help other people if I make it public, and that's the biggest thing is if it can help anybody else in any way, because I really have worked really hard to keep myself healthy so I can do as much as I can to keep my daughter healthy. And and her dad too, because I don't want to do anything that will make her dad sicker than he already is, or my daughter sicker than she already has been made through the court. So anyway, well, let me just go ahead. So since I've been deleted and blocked, I can't. I kind of wished I think I could. But maybe they are redoing the video, because my stuff that I say and that I put out there publicly, they could do. What can they do? As long as they're not like putting other words into my mouth, and they're probably not. They can find enough stupid stuff I do or say to make fun of me or ridicule me without doing that, especially if they do, this selective editing and stuff. But I really don't care. I'm not trying to make anybody happy. I'm trying to please God, number one. I'm trying to not hurt anybody else. I'm trying to do all the good I can. I'm trying to, especially my daughter, my youngest daughter, who's 9.5. That's what this whole court case is about. So I'm not trying to make anybody happy. I don't want to make anybody miserable. I try to treat other people like I would want to be treated. And I hope that anything I do is either neutral or helpful. I hope I'm not doing anything destructive to anybody. And if I am, let me know and let me think about it. And because I know how imperfect I am, and I know how wrong I can be, and have been. I've had to change. I've had to turn 180 degrees on things before, and I'm not afraid to examine myself and admit that I'm wrong and change and apologize. I think everybody should do that. I think everybody. I tell my therapist that, and he's like, "Nobody's going to do that." And I'm like, you know, the Bible says confess your faults to one another. It doesn't do anybody any good to pretend that you're perfect, because if you're not, everybody's going to know it. Somebody's going to know it. And people closest to you might know how messed up you really are. So if you admit you're messed up, and if you got things to change, if you work towards changing them, I mean, that's a good thing. But you can't improve yourself if you don't acknowledge that you've got things you need to improve. Anyway, this is probably gonna end up being a ramble. But if they do, the thing I told them, because they're like, well, Lydia's saying we're lying and everything's straight out of her mouth. It's not, because they had a video, not one of my videos. They had a video of me being arrested. And I'm gonna laugh about that the rest of my life. being arrested, May 2nd. And I'm not sorry I reacted the way I did. I don't want anybody else to follow my example, but I don't think I really did. I don't have a problem with acting like I did. The response I had, because it was, I think it kind of, you know, like, and I had said this before about that. I needed to have some kind of sense of control over my life, and if they wanted to arrest me, I don't have a problem getting arrested. I mean, that was my 7th time. They got a warrant, okay, arrest me. But you know, it was inconvenient, and I'm just like, go away, come back when I'm ready for you to arrest me. It was a couple of hours, but it was, you know, I can tell how people would think that's stupid or foolish or whatever. But you know what? I did apologize, and I apologized to the police officer because I offended him. I wasn't really trying to offend him. I was trying to just have as much control of the situation myself as I could. But I apologized. He accepted my apology, and you know, it's okay. We're not. And see, the thing is, you're not always going to. If you're thrust into a situation you're not prepared for, never expected, and you're caught off guard, probably nobody else would do any better than you in that circumstance. You know, in any of us. In hindsight, you can go back, and I've done that with, like, that first phone call I had, the February 11th phone call with my daughter, and I don't think I did anything wrong. I absolutely did not harm my daughter on that phone call in any way, shape, or form. But listening to it, and I've listened to it a bunch of times, I'm like, oh, I wished. If I had it to do over, I would have ended the call. But that was the first phone call I'd had in, I don't know, 2.5 years. So I wanted to keep the phone call. But like I said, you know, in hindsight, if I had prior notice about what was going to happen and how my daughter was going to respond and how I was going to feel, I could have rehearsed, you know, and that's one of my ways of dealing with things. Is I know there's going to be problems, and I practice in my head. Like, I practice not getting upset when somebody jerks my chain. That's one of the biggest things I wanted to say in this video to people who are targeted by trolls. And I've told this story a bunch of times. I've been, let's see, I met Delar's dad in fall of 2017, and he, I just kind of fell into this relationship with him, and I ended up getting pregnant. I mean, I really do think, though, that getting pregnant was worst. I mean, at the time, I thought it was the worst thing that could happen to me. I would have, and I've said this, I would have rather been, I think I could have handled a cancer diagnosis better than I handled being pregnant with this man who I knew had issues. And I wasn't married, and it was just so many things. But, so I didn't know how to deal with that situation, and he didn't know how to deal with the situation, but we sort of muddled through it, and we got through a while okay, and then it was just really unhealthy, and so I went to therapists, and I tried different, and I read a bunch of self-help books, and tried to, co-parenting books, and this and that, and I tried to figure out what's going to be the healthiest way, how can I make this situation as healthy as I can for everybody? And I had to work on myself. You can't change anybody else. That's number one. You cannot change anybody else. You can try to persuade them. You can present them with the truth. You can try to be a positive influence, but you cannot change them. They have to change themselves. God can change them, but they've got to want to be changed. And but most people don't want to change because they don't think there's anything wrong with them. They think everybody else is the problem. So I got therapy. I changed. My daughter's dad he didn't want to go get, he went for a few weeks for something. I think he had some crisis or something, but he didn't want to change. So, he didn't get better. I got better. I got healthier. I put some boundaries up and respected his a lot better than I had respected his boundaries before. And, it's pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good situation. And then he kept doing crazy stuff. And I would get really annoyed. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing everything I thought you wanted me to do. Why are you getting more difficult to deal with when I'm trying to meet your needs better and respect your rights better? And do the stuff you told me you wanted me to do. So why are you being more crazy and more weird and more abusive? So I go to my therapist and I say, he's driving me crazy. I mean, I was really upset. And my therapist said, he's not driving you crazy. You're driving yourself crazy by the way you're choosing to respond to him. And I'm like, this isn't a choice. This is a natural reaction. Anybody would be driven crazy. And I'm like, if somebody comes and stabs you in the back with a knife, you're gonna react to that. Anybody would. And so there's to a certain extent, I don't know how I, but he told me that, the therapist, and I knew he was right, even though it didn't really click, but I knew it was right, and I knew if I processed that and implemented what he said, I would be healthier and feel better, and my life would be better. And it took me about 3 months working really hard at it. That might have been the time where I went and I told him, I said, I want to kill this man. I didn't want to kill him. I wanted him dead. And I said, my daughter and I will never have any peace in our lives as long as this man is alive. I want him dead. And you need to help me deal with that, because that is a bad thing to think. And the next step is I'm going to want to kill him. So, let's nip this in the bud. And he wrote me a prescription for something they put kids on a lot, which it scares me because it's very strong. Risperdal or something like that. Risperdal. And it immediately blunted all my feelings. I could not feel any emotion, which was good in a way, because I wasn't feeling like oh, this man needs to die, or I'm never gonna. My daughter and I will never have any peace, and we'll our lives will be ruined. But and I was on that for about 2 weeks, and during those 2 weeks, I was processing what my therapist said, and I was reading a lot of stuff, and I was praying, and I was trying to change the way I was thinking, and I never refilled that. I didn't need to. I mean, my therapist does not put me on, and I've asked him for it. I'm like, I wonder if I should be on, and he's like, no, you don't need any. You don't need any antidepressants. You're not really depressed. You're just in a it's a situational thing, and you need to work on dealing with it. And that's what I did. And it is hard. It's a lot easier to take a pill to make you not care about anything than it is to change the way you think and respond to other people. But sometimes we need a crutch. So anybody who's on medication and they think it helps them, and that medicine did help me, and I love my daughter's dad, and I want him to get better, and I do think it's unlikely that he will ever change, but I know that my daughter and I can, we can be healthy, and we can be happy, and we can have peace, because your peace, somebody at church was talking about this a few weeks ago, your joy, your peace needs to come from God, and you've always got God with you, and your joy shouldn't be contingent on your situation, anything external. And it's things like that. I need to close this mouth. I was going to watch the video on my laptop, and then I was going to be recording as my commentary. So, yeah, that's where I'm at now. Let's see, when did I start that? It's like maybe 5 years. I've been working on 5 years, getting where I needed to be mentally and maintaining that. And it's hard work. Every day it's hard. And I've never wanted him dead since then, and I'm glad I did the work I could, but it's kind of like losing weight. It's like the stars almost have to be in alignment, and it's kind of the same way for, I guess, breaking addictions, and some of these mental, these automatic responses we have, they're habits. They're bad habits. And like overeating, or I've never had any kind of addiction to drugs or anything. I think I might have had I was an emotional eater, so I kind of feel like I had a food addiction. But yeah, we need to the more stress and chaos going around, and I need to lose weight right now, but I've gained all this weight from the stress, but it just happens that I was able 5 years ago, whatever, to put the focus on changing the way I thought and the way I responded, and it was good. I'm really glad I did that. Okay, let me hurry up and get this done. And I am going to sing my songs at the end, because I do not believe that the trolls are going to stay away from my page. They might have blocked something, but they're going to come back, unless they're more excited about Francesca and the Punished for Protecting. They seem to really be focused on those advocates right now. So I kind of wish they'd stay with me, because they don't hurt me, but maybe that's why they are moving on to somebody else's, because they want to hurt. And but I'm going to share with the other advocates how I'm dealing with this and keeping them from making me sick. Oh, and here's a theory I have. What makes them mean like this, and what makes them say, oh, CPS saves children. That was the name of the group. CPS saves children, and they're just really negative about anybody who's anti-corruption. And that's more what I am. I'm more anti-corruption. I'm not anti government. I'm not anti, we call it DCS here. I kind of am, because they're messed up, but if they were doing the things they were supposed to do, if you got rid of the corruption, maybe DCS would be a good thing, because I know it started out, people thought it would be a good thing, and it would be good for children and good for the country, but it's not that way now. So so that's these trolls are like, oh, they're against anybody who advocates against the corruption. So my theory is, I mean, they're damaged. These are damaged people. They're you just tell. They're hateful. They won't accept truth. They're damaged. And I think probably the reason they're so crazy about DCS or CPS is because they were traumatized in childhood. This is my theory. My theory is as good as anybody else's, right? My theory is they themselves were traumatized in childhood, and either they were rescued by DCS or CPS, or they wish they had been, and they weren't. So they're on this crusade to support the people they think rescue children or save children. But that's not what CPS is doing these days. It's not. And I wanted to think that they did do good things, and they do good things, because I know sometimes they do take, I mean, if they do an emergency removal because they're cooking meth with the kids in the house, that situation justifies an emergency removal. And real cases of abuse justify emergency removal. I think those are really rare. Maybe they're not as rare as I hope they are, but from what I can tell, out of the total removals, most of them are not truly emergencies for abuse. So, but they do save some kids, but you're not going to save all the kids, and you shouldn't be harming kids, harming a lot of kids, which is what's going on now. DCS, CPS, I think it's to the point they are harming more children than they're helping, and that's what I'm against. I want them to, I don't know if they should be abolished, if they should be just cleaned up or what, but it can't go on the way it is, because there's too many children and families suffering because of the corruption in that government agency. Yeah, so that's what I think. I think they want to believe CPS is the good guys, they're the rescues, they save children. They're never wrong, they never get it wrong, they never make false allegations, they're never motivated by anything other than concern from the child. That's what I think these trolls think. And they don't. It's kind of like in court. In court, Judge Sheila Calloway, she will ignore. She's got in her head that she doesn't want to let me be in my daughter's life in a meaningful way. And she never had any justification in the first place to make some of the orders she did. She did totally without authority. They were totally abusive and oppressive, and it's abuse of her power. She got a lot. Judges have a lot of power, and they need to be held accountable for that. And but she does not want my daughter to be in my life in a meaningful way, and she absolutely ignores anything. She's got her little false narrative going on in her head, just like the trolls do. And it's like they've got blinders on. They will not hear. They will not see anything that contradicts their false narrative going on. And that's sad. And you can't do anything about the trolls, but we can do something about the judges. And I wanted to say that, don't render evil for evil. Don't spend a lot of time arguing with them, because it's like talking to a brick wall. And you can get caught up into this back and forth. They'll say something crazy, and then you'll say the truth or defend yourself or rebut their accusation, and then they'll throw something else at you, and then before you know it, you've spent a couple of hours going back and forth, and you're stressed out because there's idiots. You can't make them understand, so don't waste your time. I tell you what it is. Don't cast your pearls before swine, or give what's holy to the dogs, because they will trample them under their feet and turn on you and attack you. That's what this is. Getting in these, it's not even dialogue. I mean, dialogue is good, but what they're doing, it's so one-sided. It's casting pearls before swine, and that's a bad thing to do, because the truth, justice, liberty. Those are things that God loves. My God is a God of justice. God believes in liberty. He gives us all freedom of choice to do what's right or not. We have consequences for those. And of course, he hates a liar. God hates a liar. So, somebody promoting liberty, justice, and truth, you're casting pearls before swine if you're dealing with somebody who is against those things, or who can't just just don't waste your time. That's the best excuse. I mean, not excuse. Advice is just don't engage with them. And one thing I said on my little announcement I made before I made this recording, when I thought I was going to go watch their video, maybe they're going to take the lie off, because I got to get back to that. Their video said they included a video from my arrest on May 2nd, and this video was made by one of my neighbors who is late 20s, early 30s. She's a mother herself. Known me we've been neighbors for like 10 years. She knows me, and she knew me and my other kids. She knows me, and Delara, and she took that video, but on the video the trolls made, it said, this video was taken by a 9-year-old. So maybe they're going back to correct their mistake. And the rest of the stuff, if they're just got clips of me, and they want to make fun of me, or ridicule me, or say how wrong I am, or say how lucky they think my daughter is to not be around me, they could say that. Their right to express, they got the same rights I've got. I get, everybody. You've got a constitutionally protected right to express your thoughts and opinions. And it doesn't matter if somebody's saying something you don't agree with or don't like. Lies are not constitutionally protected. I think satire might be, and that might be one of the loopholes that the trolls are using. I kind of think it is. But some people just get off Facebook. Just shut it down. If you don't have enough self-discipline or can't control your curiosity, some people are so caught up in people saying bad things about them or telling lies about them, they just obsess over it, and I think that's what the trolls want you to do. They want to make you miserable. So don't do it. Just don't engage with them, and just do whatever you have to do to block them, delete them. Don't even go there if it upsets you. I can engage with them a little bit, but they do not upset me. I don't care what they think. And like I said, I'll defend their right to express their thoughts and opinions just as I'll defend them as strongly as I'll defend my rights or my daughter's rights, because that's what America is you got freedom. They can say nice things that build people up, or they can say hateful things. They can, I don't know about the cyberbullying. I don't know what the new laws are with that. But I wanted to say this. Yeah. I like this. This is some case law. Let me look it back up. So just remember that. People don't, people don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with what they say. They still have that right. Okay. Indiscriminate allowance. Oh, this is about, I think it's about slander or libel defamation suits. Indiscriminate allowance of actions for mental anguish would encourage neurotic overreactions to trivial hurts, and the law should aim to toughen the psyche of the citizen rather than pamper it. That's true. And that's Jones versus Harris. Looks like Maryland Appellate Court, 1977, if you want to go look that up on Google Scholar. Okay, this is a Tennessee case. Miller versus Wilbanks, Tennessee, 1999. I think that's maybe that means it's the Supreme Court, if this is Tennessee. I don't know. I forget about my citations and stuff. But that's what it is. Miller versus Wilbanks. Willbanks. Tennessee, 1999. You can find that on Google Scholar. Here's what it says. Complete emotional tranquility is seldom attainable in this world, and some degree of transient and trivial emotional distress is a part of the price of living among people. Jesus says you'll always have the poor. Well, there will always be poor people. Hopefully not incredibly destitute, that kind of poor. But there's always going to be people with less. So they'd be poor. But there's always going to be hateful people. So learn to live with them. Learn to coexist without them making healthfully. Might not be peacefully, but you can be coexist healthfully. And then of course if you've got you get your joy from God, that's key. That's the most important thing. How do I keep myself stable? It's my relationship with God, because I'm a Christian first, mother second, and American third. But God is, He's always everything. I mean, everything comes from God, and anything good comes from God. My daughter came from God, and I trust Him. I think it was a Job, though He slay me, yet will I trust Him. That's I've been that way for years. I've just got, I'm not in control of anything, really much. God's in control. I'm trying to be in control of, the Bible says, take every thought captive. I've done that, and that is really hard, but I did it. I might still be 35 or 40 pounds, or more than that, 50, 60 pounds overweight, so I might not have my weight under control, but I have my thoughts under control. That's more important than my physical health. My mental, spiritual health is more important. Okay, so that was that one. Okay, okay, I guess those were the only ones. I think I repeated myself here, but I wanted to share that. So that's true. And one thing I told my daughter, I read the Aesop's fable about the baker, his son, and the donkey. And I all my kids, you cannot make everybody happy. If you try to make everybody happy, you're not going to make anybody happy. Everybody's going to, so you're not going to make anybody happy. So just do the right thing. And if you follow God's law, and if you treat other people the way you'd want to be treated, I think that's the best you can do. And that's a lot of people. That's hard enough, but I think that's the best you can do. And then if you're doing the best you can do, you should have a clear conscience. And if you need to do better and you don't have the tools, then work towards getting those tools, because you can. We can change. We can be what we need to be. We'll never be perfect, but we can be where we need to be, as far as humanly possible. So stay off their pages. They come to your page, delete, block them. You can do that in one. If they make a nasty comment, you can. Facebook's got a. You can delete and block all in one handy motion. Okay, this is a big one. Nobody's bothered me other than the people in court. They're not in my real life. They're just on, out there on the other side of the computer monitor. If they were harassing me, stalking me in real life, that would be a different situation. And they have done that to some people. And I would just say, if it gets bad enough, just try to get, here's what I would do. Try to get the authorities to help. Try to press charges for harassment or stalking, or get restraining orders. Sue them for defamation. Make sure, before you take somebody to court, make sure you meet all the elements. You can prove all your elements to get them found guilty. Because, like I said, the false statements aren't constitutional. If they're lying about you, if they're engaging in slander or libel, then they can be held accountable. But that's still a lot of trouble. And I don't know who's tried that pro se, but that is one thing to do. I would. Oh, and if you can't get the authorities to help, I'd say go to the media and say, this is the problem. And if the media won't help you or cover it yourself. On YouTube, there's a pressing. It's called, if you search for "pressing your case," it comes up. I don't know who did that, but it's pressing your case, and it's about media and getting the word out there and stuff. So, and it's in 4 segments, and the 4th segment is about doing your own coverage. So, if you're being stalked and harassed in real life, and the police aren't helping you, and I don't know, call your mayor, councilman, whatever, and you can't get anybody to help you, then you got to push back against the abuse. And if you can't get anybody to help you, call me. I'll try to help get the word out and try to help there be some accountability for the people who are being abusive. And especially if you can't get, and that's the problem so many times, is these hateful, hurtful people. You can't. I mean, they can attack you, and then you have all this victim blaming going on, and then a lot of times the abusers, these narcissistic people, I mean, it's pretty well documented. They can flip things around and pretend like they pretend like, oh, you're the instigator. You're the one at fault. You're the one who's oppressing them or harassing them or stalking them. So, that's something we can educate the public for, and I try to help you do that. Okay, let me see what else I wanted to say, and then I'm going to sing my song. One of the resources I used, okay, when I was trying to get my head on straight, Linda Bassett, I can't remember. If you Google Linda Bassett, there's some program, but it's attacking anxiety and depression. And I got it. I got it at the thrift store for $6, and it's a lot more than that if you buy it. It's CDs and workbooks and stuff, and cards you carry around with you, and you just you really have to just develop a new habit. But that helped me a lot. I didn't do every little thing that they recommended, but I did enough to get where I needed to be, and it was a huge difference. But I worked it really hard for a few months. And also on YouTube, Pete it's Gerlach, Gerlach. He might call it Gerlach, but I think he's dead now, but he was a therapist, and he's got a lot of really good, I guess they're still on YouTube, really good stuff. And yeah, I think it was after. I don't know if, I just remember being in bed at night listening to him, and I don't know if it was when I still had Delara and it was just my overnights, I mean his overnight when I was by myself and I would listen to them, or if I was listening to him after that, or both. I probably did it both. But I think back in 2012, oh, it's almost 6 years ago. Yeah, that's when I started trying to get healthier and started therapy with this therapist I've been seeing now in 2011. But I really started making changes because things got bad. Because I was trying to do the right thing and try to make, you know, and then when the more I did to try to make this man happy, the worse he got. And that's when I was like, I got to quit responding to him and quit trying to control him, because I'm like, okay, well, if I do this, he'll respond this way. If he says he doesn't want a relationship with me outside of, he called it a business relationship, a parenting relationship. Okay, I didn't want to be alone the rest of my life. I had to get used to being single and celibate the rest of my life. So, but I was trying to control him in a way, because I was like, okay, if I do what he says, just keep it business, then he'll be happy. I was trying to make him happy. Oh man, I had codependent issues for years, but 2012, that's when I feel like I got it. 2012. I really worked on myself and got to a good spot, and I've stayed there. Even with all this, I mean, that's probably preparing me for having my daughter taken away. And that's funny, because, you know, one of the things he said when he, in his first pleading, when he was trying to take me from 185 days of parenting time to every other weekend, one of the lies he told, material change of circumstance, is, oh, the mother's mental health has recently deteriorated. When it was the best it had probably been my whole life. But see, that's what they do. They just tell whatever lies they can and can get away with, and that suit their purpose. So, okay, now I'm going to sing my song. I think that's everything. Pete Gerlach, and there were some other books, but I was just so determined. I'm not going to be miserable and have my emotions be at the mercy of somebody else's actions the rest of my life. And then you know, working on my spiritual relationship and everything, it was really worth it. And if I don't think, I know some people with mental problems, they have actual physical problems or imbalances or whatever, or brain issues, but so much stuff, it's spiritual. It's you know, so just if you could try to be as good a spot as you can be spiritually, that's the best thing for your mental health. This is going to end up being an hour. So okay, and I usually mess up my songs and then I just keep going. But the first one I said I was going to sing is the song is Love. First of all, I'd like to say a word or two. No, that's not it. That's the song is Love. That's not the song. That's a good song too. I know you won't be thinking. I'll go ahead and sing it. You won't be thinking this applies to you, but it's true, and it do. All your life you had to sing your song alone, not believing anybody could have known. but it's wrong. And you know, I think I just totally messed that up. I have a song, let me sing it to you. Let me sing it now while the meaning is new. Wouldn't it be good if wouldn't it be good if we could sing it together? Don't be afraid to sing me your mind. Sing about the joy that I know we can find. Wind them around and see what they sound like together. The song is love. The song is love. The song is love. That's only half the song, but I can't remember the chords, so that's not the song I meant to sing. I meant to sing music speaks louder than words. That's what I meant. That's why when I was playing those chords, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. It's gonna come to me. I keep wanting to sing a song of love. What is it? And it's in my songbook. I could look it up maybe if I could find the sheet. They're not in alphabetical order. What is it? Music's the only thing that the... Okay, here we go. It came back to me. Music speaks louder than words. It's the only thing that the whole world listens to. Music speaks louder than words. When we sing, people understand. The longer I live, no. Sorry. Sometimes the love that you feel inside gets lost between your heart and your mind, and the words don't really say the things you wanted them to. But when you hear, hearing someone's song, what you've been trying to say all along, and somehow with the magic of music, the message comes through. Music speaks louder than words. It's the only thing that the whole world listens to. Music speaks louder than words. When we sing, people understand. The longer I live, the more I find that people seldom take the time to really get to know a stranger and make him a friend. But the power of a simple song can make everybody feel they belong. Maybe singing and playing can bring us together again. Music speaks louder than words. It's the only thing that the whole world listens to. Music speaks louder than words. When you sing, people understand that music speaks louder than words. Okay. Alright, so that's the one I meant to sing, and I messed it up, like I usually do. And then I wanted to sing Point of Light. I sang this at the Candlelight Vigil, June 8th, at the Capitol of Tennessee. Capitol building, actually. It's an old song. I was with Dolores' friend Shania, and we looked this up. I mean, it's so old. It was George Bush. The first George Bush. So it's like 25 years old or 26 years old or something. All right, here we go. There is a point when you cannot walk away, when you have to stand up straight and tall and mean the words you say. There is a point you must decide just to do it 'cause it's right. That's when you become a point of light. There's a darkness that everyone must face. It shelter to the homeless, giving hope to those without. Isn't that what this land's all about? One by one, from the mountains to the sea, voice of light are calling out to you and me. All it takes is a point of light, a ray of hope in the darkest night. If you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light. If you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light. That's my new favorite song here lately. I get new favorite songs. Let me see. The last one I was going to sing, I gotta get my computer out. I got it printed off somewhere, but I'm going to do it off my computer here. Get Together. And when I do people's songs, I kind of make them my own. Got my ukulele, and so I might do a little bit different arrangement. I might change a word or two. So, and there's several different versions of. That's what I'm like. What is this? Why is my trim so bad? It's because when I got it's the lighting underneath there. So if you don't want to have a double chin, use or don't want your double chin emphasized. That's when you need to use light from high up and not light from below. Dang it! I shut my. have to go back in here. I had to sign in again after showing you that. But I was wondering, I'm like, man, what's wrong with my chin? That's what it is. Okay, what is it? Get Together. Let's see. And I think I don't use my capo. But lots of different people did this song. Chet Powers wrote it. Indigo Girls did a nice version. But I like the message, and somebody was posting in one of the groups like, well, how do you keep, of people who go through this kind of trauma, how do you deal with it? And my ukulele, I got this for Christmas, like after I'd been like 6 months no contact with my daughter, and I started out. It was really easy to play. It's got 4 strings, got 4 fingers, four strings. It's really easy. I would say I'm self-taught, but I really used YouTube videos and stuff. There's lots of the ukulele teacher is really good. But music, and I want to push it on everybody. I tell everybody, buy a ukulele. I mean, this worked for me. It'll work for you too. And it might not work for somebody else, but it's worth trying. And you can check out a ukulele from the Nashville Public Library. There's a pretty long waiting list, and some other libraries might be doing that. But and some people don't like to sing, but you've got to find a way to deal with your emotions and express yourself and do it in a healthy way. But I sing, and the trolls make fun of me. I screenshotted this one comment.